Yeah.
You don't curse on the radio.
Yeah.
You don't curse at church. You don't curse around your mother and your grandmother.
I don't know. I just seen that video of that pastor.
Some of these
I don't-
pastors do. They do.
Hey, I don't know what church he was at. Yo, he was he was on one.
I went to one church. He talked about, look here now. Turn to the book of Ecclesiastes.
He's making up.
Enthusiastic.
I said, fam, that
I
ain't.
flip it all through the Bible and say enthusiastic.
That's one of the lost chapters, huh? You said, sir, you better stop playing with the Lord. Get a little warm in here.
Please.
Why get it from anywhere else when you can get it straight from the yacht with Promise?
It's not a threat, it's a promise.
Yo, you know who it is and what it is, the one they call Promise, the Yapper of the Year. Appreciate you tuning in to another episode of Straight from the Yap with Promise. Today, I got a very special guest in the building. Excited to sit down and talk with this brother. He's a Chi-Town legend. You'd have seen him on the stage doing his thing on Comedy Central, BET's Comic View, Showtime at the Apollo, and so many others. He's been in Chirac. And man, listen, he is highly respected in this game. When you bring his name up in comedy circles, he gets that love. I got the one and only George Willborn in the building. George.
My man, what up, bro?
What's good,
What's
man?
up, Promise? Love, baby. Appreciate you.
Man, thank you for coming through to the Yap House, man.
I promised you I would.
Yes. You did, man.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Let's get right into it, man.
All right.
All jokes aside, for people who remember that era, that was like I'll say like a golden era, if you will, of comedy, especially for Black comics in the 90s. So many people were coming out in that era, and you had a very pivotal role. You were an MC, you were a host.
Yeah.
Talk about what it was like in that time frame of holding that hosting role down to some of those names that came through that room.
Well, all the names came through the room, all the kings, all the queens,
Yeah.
all of the ones of Def Jam and BET, all of that, all jokes aside, that came before all of those shows. So that's one of the dynamics that was really incredible, because in that era, it was just about the comedy and the audience. It wasn't no TV shows that you really was getting your exposure, or your learning your craft from. But all jokes aside, was also the third Black-owned comedy club in the country. So it was a place where Black comedians were getting paid the right way. They was getting paid on time. They was getting paid a good wager, so that created a whole different dynamic. People came dressed up to the club. The club was sold out.
Yeah.
And the best comedians in the country, and some say in the world, were performing, every week.
Yeah.
So for me to be the house MC, it was obviously a chance to first hone my craft, but also to befriend a lot of these cats and end up being brothers and have brother and sisterhood that lasts to this day, and obviously spreads well beyond comedy.
Yeah.
So all jokes aside, that was a time where, comedians, man, they was really honing their craft, and audiences was getting a chance to see them, in their rawest form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, you were there, man, the late great Bernie Mac,
Yeah.
Adele Givens, Steve Harvey,
Yeah.
said, you said so many people.
Oh man, there's so many names, brother. The owners, James Alexander, Mary Lindsay, and Raymond Lambert. They the three of them, three Black, business people, decided to, that it was a void, which it was, especially when it comes to Black comedy in Chicago. And Chicago's got such a rich history of comics.
Absolutely.
We I think we hold the crown when it comes to the level of comedy and the number of hitters.
Y'all have
in
some
the
of the
game.
greatest. Y'all have a hell of a roster.
Yeah, well, we got a hell of a roster, but there was a standard set.
Yeah.
And there's a camaraderie and a bond and an expectation from Chicago audiences.
Yeah.
That that I believe created and helped create the bond that Chicago comedians have for the most part with each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah, and talk about that too, because obviously comedy can be competitive, right? People trying to get opportunities, people
Yeah.
trying to get looks. So especially in that era where chances and opportunities were slim,
Mm.
how was it to navigate, in that time frame, coming up in Chicago with so many people on the cusp of becoming great, in those early stages? How were you able to navigate in that era?
For me, it was no problem because I had a place to work every week,
Yeah.
so I had a paycheck and I was on radio, and I was on the road. So for
Yeah.
me, I was just truly blessed in that I had many opportunities that the average comedian may not have had, in my city and other cities. But just having a comedy club there, that presents a lot of opportunities for all those comedians that were there.
Yeah.
You got Wednesday night, you got the open mic. Cats was coming down on open mic and getting opportunities that way. But for me, I was really, like I said, I was really blessed because I was being able to hone my craft, every week.
Yeah.
And then
Getting sharp.
then I was getting sharp. But then, I had people like Bernie Mac and Adele Givens and Cheryl Underwood. We were all going up, going to open mics together, So that was iron sharpening iron.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, in its rawest form. And we was just learning and honing together and bouncing stuff off of each other. And it's just those type of environments when you have that level of talent,
Yeah.
and it's other cities that that mirrored what we have in Chicago. Obviously, maybe not to the same level or the multitude,
Yeah.
but it does create, it creates something special, I think, and for that
Yeah.
city and for the comedians that serve that city. I mean, we got people that do TV, we got people that do commercials, you got.
Yeah.
If I start naming names, I'm gonna forget so many names. But
Right.
you name the top comedians, many of them that you're seeing right now
Yeah.
are from Chicago, and some
Yeah.
that you didn't even know were from Chicago. Are from
Right.
Chicago.
Yeah. No, like I said, from the past to present, y'all have a hell of a roster.
Chicago itself creates a level of funny, just like New York comedians. They have those boroughs that create all of that
Breed it.
energy and
Yeah.
all of those different cultures
Mhm.
and that style. And
Yeah.
that's why the New Yorkers had that style, They
Yeah.
homes and I lived in New York. So,
Yeah.
I performed there as well. So but the South has that,
Yeah.
Atlanta has that,
Sure.
they got some hitters in Atlanta,
Yeah.
and always have. And
DC.
that culture, DC comedy,
Yeah.
just phenomenal audience already trained and expectation high.
Yeah.
So when you got expectations are high from the audience, you got expectations are high from your peers,
Yeah.
from the people who came before you.
Mhm.
That creates motivation for comedians, in certain areas to step their game up. I think.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, because I don't think on the record, I don't think I've ever asked you this before, and it might be hard for you to do it, but Chicago does have so many hitters. We always do these lists. Do off the top of your head, like you got a top 5 Chi-Town all time?
I mean, listen, man, let me tell you this. Comedy is subjective, and
It is.
everybody knows that.
Yep.
So they want to say that, but you don't want to really dive into what that means. That means it's funny to me, it's funny to you, or it's funny to this person. You could be dying laughing at somebody, and the person sitting right next to you listens to the exact same joke.
Straight faced.
Just doesn't rock it. So,
Yep.
and I have like I'm in a gang with you guys that are comics. I'm an OG in this thing,
Mm-hmm.
that we call comedy.
Yep.
So I don't see comics as unfunny or list them here or there. And none of you niggas funnier than me. So, I mean, what do you want to? What do you want me to? What do you want me to listen to? Man?
George, Dylan.
So so and many people feel that way. A lot of people think I'm the funniest person in the world. A lot of people think the kings of comedy are the kings and they're the funniest person. People think Bernie is the funniest person they ever heard. Some people think that the man ain't nobody funnier than Promise. And that's what our job is to get as many people who feel that way about us as possible and not feel some type of way for those who don't.
Yeah. Get people to buy into what you selling.
Yeah, and if they don't, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Now, we was talking a little bit now. Now, you just said something in conversation that you told me you don't do on stage no more.
The N-word.
Where did that come from?
I said on stage. I know y'all heard me. I don't know if you got to bleep it out or whatever, but I know you heard it. I said I don't say the N-word on stage anymore. Yeah, I stopped saying it, man.
How long ago?
About 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. So I just decided I didn't want to say the word anymore on stage, and a lot had happened, you know, obviously in our society and in our world, and I'm sure to whatever degree that might have had an effect on my decision not to do it, but that wasn't solely it. None of my agents was like, "Hey, George, you'll be better received." I just didn't want to say it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm well versed, and my vocabulary skill is well extended enough where I can express myself without using the word.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to use it. And so last year, the year before last, I decided make a resolution. I wasn't gonna say it no more on stage.
Okay.
And I only said it 72 times that year, which was good for me. And as of last year, I only said it 32 times last year.
Oh, that's growth.
Absolutely.
Growth and
Now,
development.
this year, thank you very much. This year, I have only said the word 7 times. My nigga.
Yo.
My nigga.
Yo. This show is not sponsored by that word.
I said on stage, I stopped using the word when I don't know no more.
Yeah.
When I don't know no more niggas, that's when I stopped using the word nigga.
Yeah.
I stopped saying the word nigga when no niggas owe me money. How about that?
Yo.
I'll be saying it till the day I have oxygen on my nose.
You gotta put a.
Yeah, but I don't want to say the word, so I decided not to do that. And I always want to continue to challenge myself as an artist as well. So.
It's funny you say that because obviously you are a veteran in this game. You're somebody I respect, somebody I look up to. And me in my young stages, I have made it a thing to where I try to intentionally not use it.
Good, you
Which
should.
is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
That's not crazy. That's smart.
Okay, yeah, because there's times where I'm like, nah, how can I?
Because when you're doing auditions, and when you're in Hollywood, or when you're doing certain projects, or you're doing television, when you're doing church events, when you're doing corporate events, we don't do that. When you do press for your shows on morning news and on morning talk shows, you don't do that. When you go on radio, we both do radio. Been doing radio for years. You don't curse on the radio.
Yeah.
You don't curse at church. You don't curse around your mother and your grandmother.
I don't know. I just seen that video of that pastor.
Some of these pastors do. They do.
Hey, I don't know what church he was at. Yo, he was on one.
I went to one church. He talked about, look here now. Turn to the book of Ecclesiastes.
You making up
Ecclesiastes.
I said, fam, that ain't.
Flip it all through the Bible and say Ecclesiastes.
That's one of the lost chapters, huh? You say, sir, you better stop playing with the Lord. Get a little warm in here.
Please.
Oh, yo, man, that is too funny, yo. But on a side note, if you're at a comedy show, or if you're anywhere, and you find yourself in an unfortunate situation where you need an injury attorney, there's only one name you need to know. That's Nicolay. Hit up my team from Nicolay Law, NICLOLET, Nicolay Law. They make insurance companies pay. You get the beard, you get the win. I know you can see the billboards all over southeastern Wisconsin. Sunglasses, bald head, beard. Yeah, that's my dude, Russ. Holla at Nicolay Law. They will make insurance companies pay and get you the money you need. NicolayLaw.com for more.
Now you gotta call them. You gotta call them first too. Call me for the police. Make sure you call Nick and them boys first. All right, and don't move. Don't move. Nick don't like when you move. Just try to put it on voicemail. Be like, Nick, I'm here. Call the police, and then don't move. Say, I can't move my neck. And Nick will be right there for you.
George said, call nigga like first. He said,
Don't call the police before you call them. Let them get there first.
Man, you a damn fool, bro. We talked a little bit about radio.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have had success in multiple arenas, man. You've been blessed to do it on the stage.
Yeah.
And you also have been on nationally successful syndicated radio shows.
At least 4 of them.
Did you always have an interest in radio?
No.
Or because of stand-up, did that
just happened? I had no interest. I didn't send no demo tapes. I didn't
air check.
have this air check. I didn't see what stations was.
Yeah.
I was doing comedy at All Jokes Aside, and one night, no, I actually I got hired to do a show for Diane Reeves.
Okay.
And the radio station B103 sponsored, I think, her show. I did the show, and whatever the sales guy that was responsible for that show saw me, and he went back and he told the programmer director at B103.
Okay.
And then they brought their whole sales team down to All Jokes Aside, including one of the sales managers, white boy named Kirby.
Okay.
And All Jokes Aside was packed, man. All of the Bears and the Bulls, their wives would all come. All the who's who would come. People put they best on, and just and so it was a big deal. And his whole team came out there, and I had a great time. I do a lot. Y'all call it crowd work now. The young comics, y'all call it crowd work. I call it working without a net. I've been doing it for longer than some of y'all been alive. But I was doing some of that, and I did some of that stuff with the salespeople.
Okay.
And the next day, Max Myrick, he came back to my next show.
Okay.
The next night by himself, and he watched my show again. I didn't know he was there, and I came to the bathroom, go to the bathroom in the hallway, and he offered me a job. He said, "Hey, man, you what do you think about coming on morning radio?"
Damn.
I said, "Well, as long as it doesn't affect and it doesn't interfere with my desires and my admirations to do stand-up and television and film, I don't have a problem with it." So about 2 weeks later, I moved into the building that the radio station was in, so I could try to be on time, and and started doing radio. It was a natural fit, and I don't have a persona with none of this. With stand-up, with comedy, unless I'm acting and I have a character that I have to portray.
You
I'm just, it's just what you see and what you hear is what you get. And so that's what I bring to radio. That's what I bring to stand-up. That's what I bring to, a person that I see at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, my pleasure. I try to catch them when they don't say that shit. I caught them one day. Ooh.
Oh, they had to say my pleasure?
I don't know about the ones in Atlanta or in Chicago, but the ones that
No, the ones in Atlanta definitely don't say my pleasure. They be like, what? Man, you better hurry up, bro.
The ones up here, boy, after the
You have
order,
to say my pleasure?
they be like, my pleasure.
Oh.
So you try to catch them.
In case they don't say it?
Called him one day. I said, hey, man, say, man. Yes, sir. I said, you ain't say my. He said,
oh, wow.
Sorry about that, sir.
Y'all black folks are really acting up down here.
I wanted to see where he was at with it. I said, hey, you ain't on script, buddy. Like, now you talked a little bit about acting, and you got a chance to work with one of my favorite directors, Spike Lee, on the project Chirac.
Yeah.
What was that experience like of working with a guy like Spike Lee, who a lot of us look at, as a legendary, director in mind in film?
That was a really cool experience, the way it all happened and unfolded, because I had auditioned for another part, and many people in Chicago, some of the local Chicago actors and comedians had an opportunity because they cast, some of the parts locally. Obviously, some of the major parts. When you look at that film, it was just so many stars in it. Just to be a part of that, was incredible. But the process was even extra ordinary in that I was going after a different role. And then I came to do the audition, and I met Spike. I was like, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, George?" He's like, "Man, I know exactly who you are."
Wow.
And he said, "Give me that." he took those sides. He said, read this. So he had a totally different
role for you.
role for it. So you got, he said, I'll give you 5-10 minutes, and so cold reads are very difficult.
Now
And
explain what a cold read is.
That's just
Just on the spot?
you're just on the spot,
Wow.
and no real time. I had a couple of days with the character that I had that I was auditioning for. I had 10 minutes for the thing that he handed me, And so, but I went in and I changed one of the lines, which you're never supposed to do either.
Okay.
And I changed one of the lines. I went and I did the audition, and he was like, man, that's a great line. He's like, I use that. I was like, no, you can have that,
Yeah.
So, he used it. He used me. He, ended up telling me he was a fan of mine who knew about my work. So that experience was a bit surreal. But then to be able to learn and be able to be on a set and see someone as meticulous and such such a master at what he does was also a blessing. Not to mention, to be on the set with Angela Bassett and Harry Lennox and and Wesley Snipes and John Cusack, and the list just went on and on that cast, and everybody was so kind. And just that was a good experience, even though none of you Negroes went to go see the movie, so it don't really matter. But I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the style, I think, and then I ended up keeping the relationship with Spike. So that was absolutely. So we still keep in contact. I wouldn't be surprised if I pop up on something else, before he gets done. I hope so.
Man,
but that was a great experience.
Let's speak that to existence. That's dope. Now, of course, we know Spike is Mr. New York Knicks. Like, he is the ultimate Knicks fan.
No doubt. No doubt.
And the Knicks obviously are, about to be in the finals. We were talking a little bit earlier. Man, you have a dope experience at the Garden with your son, man.
Yeah, my oldest son, George III. Yeah, he played D1 basketball and played for UTSA and transferred to UC Riverside, and had a great college career.
Yeah.
Years ago, good friend of ours, Mike Woodson, who, when he was a coach for the New York Knicks, he had us come down, and I got a chance to, play ball with my son on the Garden floor, and he got a chance to meet his mentor, Carmelo Anthony, and just that was for moments like that, for a dad, and for a guy that really, my father was gone, so all those experiences I had with my oldest son and my youngest son Mason. I cherish those more than any of the things I've done professionally, for sure.
Yeah. Because what you do for a living don't define who you are. You know what I'm saying?
No, no, it doesn't. No.
Yeah,
no.
You being a dope dad is gonna mean way more than being an amazing comedian.
I hope so. I hope to be able to do two. I hope to do both.
Yeah.
I hope to be able to do both, but I certainly rather be successful in their lives opposed to being successful to you guys. But hey, that don't mean I want y'all to do what y'all got to do.
Right.
Come on,
Hey,
let's keep it 100.
but the crazy thing is, you had me tripping out though. Like, you said there's a very well-known former Knick player who you say you ran into in the gym that day. Any God, Jr.
Yeah.
You said J.R. Smith. So if you don't mind sharing with the audience, what
It
the
was
hell?
years ago when we was at the visiting, and we was playing, and J.R. Smith walked through the cafeteria, and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And he spoke and everything. He got him some snacks or some yogurt or whatever the hell he was getting, and he left out, and it was just me and my son George, and he dropped the envelope, and when he walked on out, and so I grabbed it and I was just going to get him, and it's an envelope full of money, just $100, just stacks
on stacks.
And so I ran down the hall and ran on past him and got on out of there. No.
Hey,
Thanks, brother. Them Bulls kicked that ass a couple years ago too. No, I just gave the man his money, and obviously he was appreciative. But like I told you, anytime you're in a space like that, or if someone invited you in something as sacred as a locker room, or someone that's somewhere that you have people that are established, and you want to act accordingly, obviously, and you just obviously want to do the right
Right
thing.
thing.
I'm surprised at that many things. I mean, I'm sure you would have did the exact same thing. Promise.
Absolutely. After I took a few dollars off. No, let me stop, man. Hey, let me stop. I still gotta go back to Pfizer. Let me chill out. Now, I wanted to ask you this too, because you have come from a lineage of great years in comedy, but you still going now. Like you're
Yes.
still funny as hell now.
Yes.
George, what motivates you to continue doing this
I'm a
crazy
student
thing?
of the game. I'm honing my craft every chance I get. I'm incredibly grateful and blessed to be able to have a talent and to do something that I absolutely would pay to do myself.
Mhm.
And I want to be the absolute best that I can be at it.
Yeah.
Because I'm helping people too. See, I'm helping myself, but comedy is so healing, and when you really do it on a high level and you continue, the better you get, the more you can heal, and the better the medicine. And I like that aspect of it. A lot of people that come to my show, I know that they come because they know I do hard laughter.
Stress
I'm
reliever.
not a giggler.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have your stomach hurting. I'm gonna have you slapping on people,
Yeah.
sweating your Beijing out and all of that. And I've always enjoyed that because I have people and fans and supporters that come who they want that kind of comedy.
Yeah.
They want to laugh hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're there for the laughs. But I'm also there for the people who you had to drag there.
Mm.
People who had a bad medical report, or they, going through a real tough time mentally, or your family had to drag their ass out, or because they wouldn't open up their shades, or they wouldn't get out the bed.
Yeah.
Those people, when I get them, it's really important because everybody ain't there because they want to laugh. Some people there because they need to laugh.
Facts, that part.
So me working hard and honing my craft, that'll be able to allow me to touch the people that not only that want to laugh,
Mhm.
but those who that really, really need to laugh. Then I can be able to assist them.
But also too, George, you know how like you speaking on what that audience needs. Can you speak a little bit about like how it's also therapeutic for us up there on stage as well?
Well, only if you're brave enough.
Okay.
Only if you're brave enough.
Okay. To open up.
To talk about those uncomfortable things.
Mm.
To talk about things. It's easy to get on stage and talk about, oh, look at this guy. He got the double chin. He ain't got no neck, and he got one crack eye and all that. Yeah, but what's wrong with you? And how do you turn that into something that, is relatable? Because, what about your alcoholism and the time that you almost peed on yourself, you was at church, or whatever that story is, that may be funny when you're telling it about somebody else. Well, how funny is it when you're telling it about you?
Yeah.
And some of the greatest of comedians have always been able to take some of our own tragedies and some of the things that we're not so proud of, and turn that into comedy and heal from that, and then consequently heal somebody else who might be going through the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So if a comic has the courage to get out there and really tap into, that part of comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, the great Richard Pryor was one of the best and one of the most courageous when it came to talking about things that he had gone through.
Yeah.
And most great comedians do that. So I wanna mimic that. And I wanna go to that's a whole nother level. And there's many levels to this, but that's a whole nother level when you're gonna put the microscope on yourself opposed to everybody else.
And I reference you a lot. You may or may not remember, but you gave me some advice. One of the first times I ever got a chance to be around you and rock and open for you. I remember like the first night I performed, you basically came to me and told me like, yo, like you funny. Like what you did was funny. But in so many words, you told me I was surface. Like you like that's low hanging fruit. I remember you telling me.
Well, for somebody like you, because you're a thinker, and I already saw, you as if you're a person that is a student of the craft like you, then why fool around with stuff that I mean, an audience that's a well-trained and that's wanting a lot or wanting more from that, that's not going to feed them anyway.
Yeah.
You know, you can't eat and they can't eat
Yeah.
off of that.
Yeah.
You know, that's if you learn. If you just learning, you learn. You know, you gotta crawl before you walk.
Mhm.
You know, I get that.
Yeah.
But I believe at that time I had met you. You know, I just saw a little bit more
You
than.
told me basically I was better than that.
Yeah. I thought you were.
Yeah, you was
Yeah.
like, bro, like you was like, go deep, you know, and that George, that resonated with me. Like I
Yeah.
never forgot you telling me that. So
Yeah.
every year I kept going, like you
Hey,
said.
don't worry. In 1 year you will get better.
Yeah. Flame me on my own shit. He like, one day you gonna learn how to ride that bike without the training wheels. Just not tonight.
No, you're doing a great job, man.
Thank you.
On the air, radio, comedy, you're doing it the right way, man. So
No, like I said, I preach. Like I said,
Yeah.
I don't forget those tips. When I
Yeah.
get to be around people like yourself and some of the other legends, OGs I've been blessed to be around, I never take it for granted. And I listen more than I talk when I'm around y'all. I
Well,
soak it up.
Well, that's debatable, but what I want you to do is to continue to do what you do. Create your own space, Promise. Create your own lanes. Create your own shows. Do comedy shows. Do podcasts. Create your own stuff, and you don't have to ask somebody. You know, can you sit at their table when you built your own table?
Respect. No, I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Thank
No
you.
problem.
George, before I get you out of here, you know we got to play our game first and last.
Mhm.
I'm gonna ask you a first, I'm gonna ask you a last. They may or may not be connected.
All right.
We got first and last with the one and only stress reliever.
All right.
George, what's the first thing you do when you wake up?
I thank God for waking up.
Respect that. Likewise.
First thing I say is I thank you, God, for another day.
Yeah. Amen.
Usually before my eyes open, but definitely before my feet hit the ground.
Yeah. No, I totally respect that. George, this is one of the first times I saw you kill it. This is one of my favorite things I've seen you do over the years. You murdered it on Shaq's All-Star Comedy Jam.
Mhm.
When's the last time you watched that performance?
Oh my God. Years.
It's been years.
Maybe when was that? But that 10
like 2010?
Oh,
Like
it's been well over a decade.
Yeah.
Well over a decade. I'm trying to create new moments.
Right.
You know.
But you know, people still talk about that performance.
Yeah, I mean,
They
that's
still
good.
repost clips, you know what I mean?
Is
On
that
social
right?
media, on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Well,
Yeah,
that's love. Hey, keep doing it. Keep reposting. But yeah, it's been well over 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm not a consumer of my own.
Material. Is it tough for you to
Material.
watch yourself?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily. Not in. You know, I'm a tough critic and all of that, like
Yeah.
like most artists. But I'm just trying to create, man, and do it. So I don't get too much into it. If I got a joke or something or a performance that I want to see something, then yeah, I'll go back and I'll check it out.
Yeah.
But I don't do a lot of that.
Yeah. Yo, shout out to my producer, Campy.
The beard shit.
No, but yeah, that, like I said, that clip, you know what I mean? Sometimes on YouTube and, you know, social media, those clips still rang off. And I'd be happy because I'm like, I know, bro. Like, not just that it's funny, but
Look.
like the comments on social media, though, they laughing, but they be wild, George.
Mm.
Because, you know, it was a different time period. You don't dress like that no more.
Mm.
But they was talking the boots. They said you had on Constitution boots. They was saying
Constitution. It sound like you said it.
George, it was not me.
That's
Trust
what it
me.
sound like.
It wasn't.
It sound
me.
like you talking about they said. Who the fuck is they? All of a sudden, they didn't say
It was
some shit.
they.
They ain't asked one question all today. All of a sudden, now they said something about the boots.
I didn't say
Everything
nothing.
else, you said everything else, but they said something about
I didn't say
Constitution
nothing
boots.
about the. I didn't say nothing about the Declaration of Independence.
They said you got a little bit of that beard. That's what they said. They say it ain't a real goatee. That's what they say. They say your hairline is been going back a little bit. That's what I didn't say that.
See here.
They said that.
Now
shit.
we need to turn it to the roast, George. We gonna do this.
You know, they said they made your real teeth. I said they are.
Hey, we ain't doing the veneers. You on the A. You know all about all that. They all down there with us.
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't know. I brush mine 32 times a day. and my mother got me braces. She loved me.
He said, debatable. George,
Man.
what is the first, like, what's the first big purchase? Like when you got a certain check or bag in this industry, what's like the first purchase you was like, I gotta buy? One of the first things you bought.
I don't know if it was the first,
Okay.
because I had a family, you know, when I was really making, you know, big purchase type of,
Yeah.
you know, probably my Bentley was the first big purchase that was for me. But I knew I wanted one when I was 10. I said I wanted a Bentley.
What color?
It was a blue Azura.
The Bentley Azura. Okay.
Yeah, a blue Azura drop top.
Ooh.
But I was 10. I wanted that car. Not that car, but I wanted a Bentley. I didn't even know what the
which model
the hell it was.
Correct.
I know that. I wanted Black Panther. I wanted 2 Black Panthers in a mansion.
Actual
pet Black Panthers.
Damn.
And I wanted to have a house in Barbados.
Okay.
So I've never been to Barbados. I don't have the Black Panthers, but I did have 2 Black Shih Tzus. So that's close. And I got the Bentley. So I got a couple things off my 10-year-old bucket list that I still have. But the Bentley was probably one of the first big purchases that I made.
Okay. Dope.
And I was blessed to have a couple more after that. A couple more purchases.
Hey, we got a thing on this show, George, called Pop Your Shit. Last one. What is the last thing you do before you go to sleep?
I pray. I thank God for waking me up, starting me on my way. And I thank him for all that he has done. And I brush my teeth before I pray.
Gotta have a clean mouth when you talk to the Lord, huh?
Well, not all of us. Not all of us.
George, if they not follow you, man, make sure you give them out social media so they can tap
y'all
in.
follow me at The Stress Reliever or The Stress Reliever. It's the same damn word, depending on what school you went to. Follow me at The Stress Reliever or G Willborn, Willborn, WILLBORN. My Cash App is $. Oh, no.
Scam. Lock the doors.
No, like the preachers, y'all get the preachers all the money. You can't get a comedian son.
You know, I said something on stage one day, like, strippers get tipped. The dude on the corner singing songs get tipped. Why comedians don't? The DJ get tipped.
They never tip us. Even the promoters. Promoters out here. Let me tell you something. What's wrong with y'all giving the tip to, especially when you have your milk bath? Promoters, they have 2 types of baths. They have a milk bath and a blood bath. All right?
Break it down.
But when they had that blood bath, they ain't got no problem coming to you. Hey, man.
It was light tonight.
Man, it was light, man. Can I pay the rest of that next week, man? Hey, man.
Hey, when they go, hey,
man, I took a killing. But when they had that milk bath, you don't never see them come say, hey, man, I did so good. You know what?
You love.
Help me,
bless you.
No. So keep that in mind.
It'll never happen. And again, Straight from the Yacht with Promise is sponsored by Nicolay Law, Wisconsin's and the Midwest #1 injury attorney. So if you find yourself where you are in need of one of those, you know what to do. Holla at my man Russ at Nicolay Law. Go to nicolaylaw.com for more or call 1-855-NICOLET. This has been another episode of Straight from the Yacht with Promise. I appreciate George Willborn coming through.
No problem,
kicking with me in the Yacht House. Also,
I got you.
Blessing us for Funny on Sunday for the 3-year anniversary.
No doubt. It's going to be a great time, man.
Yes, man. Much love and continued success.
If you get hit by the car, lay there. Don't move. To Nick and the boys get there. Don't move, just lay there.
We out here till the next time. Make sure you follow, subscribe, like, comment. We out of here. You already know. It's not a threat. It's a promise. Yeah, it is.